I ruined my sister's wedding, and honestly, I don't regret it. Before you judge me, let me explain what happened. My sister Emily had been dreaming about her wedding since she was a little girl. She wanted the perfect dress, a huge venue, beautiful flowers, a live band, a photographer, and even a ridiculous 7-tier wedding cake. There was just one problem. She couldn't afford any of it. At first, she asked me for a little help. I agreed. I thought, she's my sister. It's her wedding. I'll help where I can. So I paid for the photographer, then the flowers, then the decorations, then the cake. Every time I paid for something, she said the same thing. I'll pay you back. I believed her. Until one evening, she sent me the final wedding budget. I stared at my phone. The total was enormous, and next to almost every expense was my name. My sister had basically decided that I was going to pay for her entire wedding. I called her immediately. "Emily, what is this?" She laughed. "What? It's just the final budget." I told her I couldn't afford to pay for everything. There was a long silence. Then she said, "But you can afford it." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I reminded her that I had already spent thousands of dollars on her wedding. She sighed. "You're my sister. You should want me to have the wedding I've always dreamed of." And that's when I realized something. She wasn't asking me for help anymore. She felt entitled to my money. The next day I told her I was done paying. She completely lost it. She called me selfish. She told our parents I was trying to ruin her wedding. My mother called me and said, "Please don't do this to your sister. It's her special day." Nobody asked me how much I had already spent. Nobody asked why Emily couldn't afford the wedding she had planned. They just expected me to keep paying. So I stopped answering everyone's calls. And for the first time in months, I felt relieved. Then, 3 days before the wedding, Emily called me. I almost didn't answer, but I did. She didn't apologize. She didn't ask me to reconsider. Instead, she said, "If you don't pay for the venue, the wedding is going to be canceled." I said, "Then maybe you should have planned a wedding you could afford." She hung up. The wedding day arrived, and I decided to go anyway. Not because I wanted to pay, not because I wanted to fix anything. I went because she was my sister. I wanted to be there. When I arrived at the venue, everything looked beautiful. Flowers everywhere, candles, huge white decorations, people taking photos. Everyone was smiling. And for a moment, I almost felt guilty. Then the wedding coordinator walked up to me. She handed me an envelope. "Your sister said you would take care of the remaining balance." I opened it, and my stomach dropped. There was still a massive amount left to pay. I looked at the coordinator and said, "I'm sorry, that's not my bill." She looked confused. "Your sister told us you were paying." I shook my head. She was wrong. About 20 minutes later, Emily came running toward me. She was wearing her wedding dress. She looked furious. "What did you do?" I said. "Nothing." She pointed toward the coordinator. "They said you won't pay." I looked at her and said, "Because I never agreed to pay." She started yelling. People turned to look at us. Her fiancé came over. My parents followed, and suddenly everyone was standing there, staring at me. Emily started crying. She told everyone that I had promised to pay, that I had abandoned her on her wedding day, that I was jealous of her, that I wanted to destroy her happiness. And for a second, I almost apologized, until her fiancé asked one simple question. "How much has she already paid?" Nobody answered, so I did. I told him exactly how much I had spent. The photographer, the flowers, the cake, the decorations, everything. His expression changed. He looked at Emily. What? Didn't you tell me your sister was paying for everything? She went silent. And then something happened that I never expected. Her fiancé took off his jacket. He walked over to the coordinator. Cancel whatever we can't afford. Emily started crying. What are you doing? He looked at her. I'm not marrying someone who lied to me about something this big. The entire room went silent. He walked out. The wedding didn't happen. And everyone blamed me. For months, my family barely spoke to me. Emily told everyone I had destroyed her life. But 6 months later, she called me. She apologized. Not because everything suddenly became okay, but because she finally understood what she had done. She told me, I thought, because you had more money than me, you owed me the life I wanted. And honestly, that sentence was all I needed to hear. I forgave her, but I didn't give her any more money. We're slowly rebuilding our relationship. And I still think about that wedding sometimes. People say I ruined my sister's wedding. Maybe they're right, but I didn't ruin it because I refused to pay. I ruined the illusion that someone else would always pay the price for her choices. And if I had to make the same decision again, I would.